Hello, my name is Teresita Blanco, the Artsy Sister, and today we're gonna be talking about my 10 favorite romance anime shows. There are 8 straight ones and 2 yaoi ones. There's no yuri ones in this selection because I wasn't able to find a single yuri anime show that wasn't just a vehicle for ecchi. So
If you have one, leave it in the comments below.
yeah, like if you can find me a jewelry one that is actually washable and not just an excuse to do a bunch of edgy stuff, then by all means. Well, whatever. The first one in the shopping blog, they're in alphabetical order, not in the order of which was better and which was worse. The first one is Bigata HK, but in the US, but in the Western world, it's known as Jamada's first time. So just as the title says, it's like the anime show came out like it first ran as like a manga in Weekly Jump from 2004 to 2011, and then it eventually got an anime series in Funimation in June 2010. And that's roughly when we watched it. We saw it in Chunkyroll back when Chunkyroll hadn't been bought by Viz Media, and now they're even. Well, I'm not gonna talk about I'm not gonna be talking about the current state of anime streaming services today. It's a mess. It's sad even, but whatever. And just as the title says, it's about it's about Yamada who has the goal of like sleeping with 100 different guys. Like different people.
College student, pretty much.
Yeah. No, but she's in high school. But
Don't forget that in college, I mean that in Japan, high school is college. It's not a.
no. Well, she has wearing uniform. You don't wear uniforms in college. Yeah. And canonically, yeah, she says in high school. She wasn't in college.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not.
You don't need to explain it.
Whatever. Potato. The point is that, but she's a virgin, so obviously, good to go. Taking the first step from going from a pure innocent virgin girl to what the modern society considers. I don't know, like 100 guys. It's a very low number considering like the Florida rate of. Considering that was considered a lot in Florida. Add a zero in front of that number, and then you will be considered average in like Florida. Whatever. So then at first she wanted a more experienced guy, but then she be like, well, I just gotta find another total spaz like me. So then she ends up. So then she starts looking for for a practice guy, as they call it, and then she ends up developing feelings as the show goes on, for like the guy that was just supposed to be her practice guy. And it goes from like somebody that just gonna like get past him, and then as a stepping block to my city goal, to somebody that I actually care whether he lives or dies.
Well, it's also that she's considered to be hot by school standards and has a lot of followers and lovers and people that want to be with her, but nobody that actually takes the step that she wants to take.
Yeah, the romance stuff, because they feel intimidated by her beauty.
And she's downright deranged at times.
Oh yeah. She's just nuts, but in a funny fashion, which makes me laugh.
Like,
And then, and the English translation was hilarious. Like they were really into it, because sometimes you say, do you watch it in the English dub or in the original Japanese language? Well,
they're
this
both cool.
yeah, like we watch it in both languages, and like the people who were doing like the voice for her in English, they were really into it. It's not like you can tell when like the voice actors got paid. Because they try like 1%. They don't sound like so monotone as the people from like Wuthering Waves. That I'm half tempted to think that it's just a robot doing the voices.
I like Wolverine.
Yeah, I like the story, but like sometimes like the voice actors just they don't sound into it. But maybe whatever, whatever. And the last time they were like,
Oh yeah, that weird blood
Yeah. And make them all sound like chibi. That's a good way to like save on voice acting. Or just go full blown Animal Crossing. Moving along. This one is Basilisk. The Kouga Ninja Scrolls by Gonzo, and it came out in 2005. And it was based on a manga that was based on a book, like an actual book with words.
And the book was based on something that was happening in Japan as well.
But it's also based on. But it's also based on like Romeo and Juliet, cause like in Japan Cause like in Japan, in the one day the shogun woke up and a bunch of ninjas had like murder each other, and then that's how they discovered that there had been a war between the Kouga and the Iga tribe, because like they just found like a bunch of dead ninjas and stuff. So that's how they caught up with that. So then, like, so yeah, it's just basically Romeo and Juliet. They said that they're ninjas and they had like weird genjutsu eye abilities. You know, the girl, her ability is to completely negate all of genjutsu. So she's the anti-Sasuke.
She has a Deadly Negan, which is why.
Very nega.
By the way, the book came out before Naruto.
Yeah, a lot of the book is old from like the 50s, before Naruto, before the guy who wrote Naruto was even born. So yeah, if you see a lot of Naruto in this one, no, it's the other way around. There's a lot of Basilisk in Naruto, and the title itself, Basilisk, is like the weird. It's a weird rooster that has the ability to like petrify people when they look at it. Oh, like also the basilisk is sometimes listed as a type of dragon. So yeah.
Plus, this one has the only ball grabbing I ever seen in anime.
Yeah, in the middle of a fire. You're gonna pull out your nuts and that'll mess with your game. Yeah.
The one that had 4 arms for the sword and arms for the.
For each of the spheres. So yeah. And that happened in episode 1. So when I saw it,
in the first fight that you see in Basilisk involves a ninja carrying another ninja by the ball.
I if it's not like a weird yaoi bordering on hentai one,
that fight is started. That was one.
Grab pull the guy by the
Super ninjutsu.
Progress. They gotta put that in the next. Well, I mean, they already had in Naruto somebody sticking a finger of somebody's butt, so why not have that as well in Naruto?
I put that in Boruto.
You put that in Boruto, you know. Naruto
is getting lower already, so like.
Like Naruto is so my main character, but he's teach with a finger. You get Jesus, stupid or whatever. Very early Naruto. The thing that they don't want you to look at again, because like early Naruto was pretty. It got good with Sabusa, but then that was the last time Naruto was good.
This is a romance one, and it has.
Romeo and Juliet, but the ninjas.
And they blind both of them like halfway through the series. So it's basically just them blind while a bunch of ninjas try to like, you know.
Yeah, and like while stuff happened around. Oh yeah. We gotta spoil the mid-season twist.
No, the mid-season twist is the guy with the.
Yeah, whatever. Let's just continue. Basilisk. And obviously we spoiled the ending because it's Romeo and Juliet. Everyone knows how Romeo and Juliet ends, but whatever. People like doing Romeo and Juliet to that. The next one is Fruits Basket. The first anime series was made by Studio Dean and produced by NAS and Tokyo TV, and it aired in 2001. And then the anime show got a remake in 2019. I don't even know why. I don't get but it got animated worse because it was mostly CGI weird stuff.
Yeah, I know. How do you make a remake that makes the anime worse than the original?
Yeah, so Ben.
Got along made.
So yeah, it's about this homeless girl that goes to live with like some of her classmates because like she lost her house because like her mom died, so then she had nobody to like So then she had no money, so that's how she ended up living in somebody's yard. And then
somebody turned out to be the spirit animals, right?
Well, the reincarnation. So of like the zodiac animal, including the cat, but then her romantic interest is the cat and the rat. But then they say that, but then like so then it's a love triangle between a cat person and a mouse guy. But as part of the weird gimmick of their weird curse slash reincarnation is that whenever a woman that's not part of like the zodiac, whenever a woman's not part of like the zodiac, when she hugs them, they revert into like their animal or spirit form or
The
whatever.
secret to Rama won't have where hot water or cold water causes them to change.
To change form. It's like a weird gimmick to make romance in them. Another step in the another step to overcoming the romance or whatever. And of course, and mostly it's like a family drama where an outsider is brought into the family, and then like a couple of them like them, but then 80% of them hate their guts. So it's something that a lot of like people that marry into large ancestral family, and you're like the outsider of the group, and then like the mother-in-law makes it her business to like ruin your life or something like that. But I think but there's always a jerk in the family out to get you. But yeah, that's fruit baskets in a nutshell. Just trying to romance in the stone, but then like
No contact.
but no contact, no huggy type. They can touch, but
They kiss.
I don't remember. Could they kiss? I don't know. Whatever.
You have to watch it. Just
Yeah. I haven't seen it in a while. The next one is the first jury, the first one yaoi, the first yaoi anime show in the list is Gravitation, and it's based on a manga that got later turned into an anime show in 1999. First an OVA and then a TV series in 2004. So then it's about a musician, a struggling musician, and his romance with a rich, successful writer who's always like poking fun at like the terrible lyrics that he writes. That he'd be like, you gotta like try like 1%. But like they said, like they format, like they get together like very early in like the anime show around episode 3 or 4, and then the rest of the show is just them struggling with the relationship, because usually with romance anime shows it usually ends when like the girl gets the guy or the guy gets the other guy, and then they just assume that they live happily ever after. But no, just getting the person to like you and date you, that's just step one. The rest is just trying the struggles of maintaining the relationship, which is like easier said than done. And like the music is kind of was more or less amusing, and like the guy writer has as with Gojo, most decent shows, he has a deep dark secret, and I'm not gonna spoil what it is, but yeah, there's a reason why he's a bit hesitant to form like a new relationship and so forth. The next one is InuYasha, a feudal fairy tale. Like InuYasha, like for like at least in the beginning, like it was more like the entire plot of InuYasha is driven started because InuYasha was dating the priestess Kikyo, and then like this bandit Onigumo that since he couldn't like didn't have a body anymore to like date the priestess, he made a pact with a bunch of demons in order to biologically fuse with them in order to gain a body. So then yeah, so that's basically InuYasha in a nutshell. So then like
the ultimate beta move.
yeah, the ultimate beta. So that InuYasha just the beta move, and then like even 50 years later when he gets like a new girl that is a reincarnation of the old girl but from the future, whatever. And Narago like wakes up and yeah, just like up and stopping about. I better go kill his new girl. Yeah, and then he just just basically to like the entire motivation of Narako is I gotta
Sure, Inuyasha doesn't get laid with anyone.
yeah, I gotta go murder all of his girlfriend because he took the girl because he took the girl like
For like 3 seconds.
for like 3 seconds. Like yeah, so yeah.
It's like my body's burned beyond recognition and I can't move, but like it's hot.
She's hard. The priestess is well, which goes with that saying, no good deed goes unpunished because like she was doing a silent to like a guy that was burned that couldn't move, and then like her sister be like, yeah, but what if you're like helping like somebody who's like the absolute worst and who probably murdered a bunch of people? And spoiler alert, Onigumo back when he was a being of flesh and blood like a normal human, he was also the absolute worst. He was just there's a mother. Yeah, and for like that could be funny, but like yeah, the type of evil bandit that like Shishima would like just uber murder in like 5 seconds, all potential Nigumos. And also, like, one of Naraku's incarnations, Kagura, that is Naraku female aspect. So, basically, Naraku's bi. So, not only was he obsessing about InuYasha, but he was also.
Kagura or whatever her name was in love with the Shomo.
Yeah, so, but she's an aspect of Naraku, like, born because incarnation, so.
Naraku was into the Yasha's brother as well.
Yeah, that's something that they didn't. That's something that got lost because that it's just a long show. Like the first season has like I don't know, like 400 episodes and like 8 anime movies. And I think even a live action.
Then there's InuYasha the final, and they sped run through 60 volumes in like 12 episodes.
24 episodes.
So then you have InuYasha gaining new abilities.
Once every 3 episodes.
One episode he gets black hole, so then the regular red sword, then he loses a sword, then he gains a different one, then Techomaru now has a sword. Now he has a different sword where he goes to sword book. It's like, oh wow.
They just sped run through everything and I mean oh my god. Whatever.
You know how the arena in InuYasha had a very slow pacing. The final act is the complete opposite.
Yeah, they just be like, we only got 24 episodes to finish this, so they just went full throttle on that.
Like they spent half an episode on Sechomaru's mother, which is like.
Yeah, like which one? Did she even show up in Yasha? He really forgot that Sechomaru had a being of flesh and blood that was his mother.
No, Yasha even forgot about all of it.
Yeah.
Plot.
Yeah. It just felt like Yashahime was made by that they wrote a Yashahime and then in order to sell it they dressed a terrible script with familiar characters and then Rumiko Takahashi be like, I completely disowned this series, please continue reading my mangas. I just designed the characters because I was contractually obligated and somebody was holding a gun to my head. I had no other choice. Yeah, that's Yashahime in a nutshell. And I will never stop talking bad about Yashahime. I could even make a whole blog about all the things I hate about Yashahime. This one is Love, Shinubio, and Other Delusions. This anime show aired in 2012. And, oh yeah, it was, I forgot. And it's also like based on like a manga and stuff. So basically, the anime show is about it's a boy meets girl in like high school and stuff, and like the weird gimmick of the people there is the anime girl made them. She has like a weird delusion where she thinks she's like the main character, like somebody really important, with relations to magic and stuff. So then it's like, and he also used to think like that, and then he felt very embarrassed about his awkward teen years where he thought he was like a cool flame wizard, Alexander style, just a lot of like cosplaying and like active imagination, or they really think that, it's potato. So then it's just him just having fun with the girl while being cringy at times, and they develop something that resembles a relationship the more they interact with each other throughout the episodes, you know? It'd be like, yeah, she's a little quirky, but she's fun, you know? It's a manic pixie dream type of romance story. And it has a so I like the like it has a good body animation it was drawn well for a change even though it's not like heavily action oriented except when she's
No,
has
this thing tries and it's well, you just gotta watch it.
yeah it's a weird it doesn't sound like a big deal when when you explain it. It's about
It's one of those things you just gotta watch it.
yeah. And also, you're welcome. Also, if you're doing cosplays and stuff, don't like go hyper. Don't go too nuts wearing an eye patch because that will legit mess up your regular. It will mess up your eyes. You're supposed to use both eyes, you know. And don't drive while wearing an eye patch unless if you really need it for a medical reason. But if it's just a fashion statement, no, don't do it. It's not worth ruining your eyesight just to look cool, Or maybe just draw the eye, you know? It's a bit weird. Whatever. This one is Midori no
100 days have made me pretty fame, and I don't think
2004,
all the
animated
miles
by
I've seen of
Period.
your
Yeah, there used to be
favorite
more
mind.
anime
I think
show
about
companies,
you,
and I
baby,
did.
and I dream
yeah.
about you all the
One
time.
day this anime guy wakes up and he has into a weird Spanish girl for weird blood reasons. So then he's the romance. Yeah, there's a lot of weird topics he thought that where he has to also watch her because she's biologically fused to his hand for eventually they explain it in the plot why she's biologically fused to his arm like that, but even that doesn't make any sense. Whatever, it's a weird nonsensical romance anime show of guy with you could even Parasite the Maxim could have gone in that direction. You know, like
Basically, the first episode is called My Girlfriend is My Left Hand.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, the innuendo is hilarious. Whatever. But the point is, but then they went literal with that. they took that jokey comment and then they just ran with it. They be like, yes, but what if my girlfriend was legit my left hand? In a very literal sense, like you say, wait, what do you mean, like a little action figure? No, the hand morphed into a chick, and then everything. How many drugs are you on?
I genuinely want to be in their room when they pitch this.
Yeah, with their pitch Midori no Hiri, where they applauded, paid money, and the animator. Like nobody in any of the steps of this asked, is anyone high? Am I the only one who's not high in this room?
And it's actually a really good watch.
Yeah.
You can actually see that she's a puppet. Like that was the official excuse. Oh, she's a puppet that I'm working on, but
Yeah, but that's just him trying to like explain to society what's going on with his hand. Like, oh, it's just a weird puppet and making a voice. Oh, how cute! You're out of your mind. So that he'd be like, yes, it's a puppet. So that they could go out in public and then he just say, oh, it's just a puppet, relax. And then he feed him. But he also has to feed her, but I don't know where her poop goes. Does she poop on his hand? Just a bunch of her body spews into it or whatever. She also has to eat.
I show her nude that is from the torso up.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, she has to eat, so where does her pooping go? That's the biggest question that I have in Miss Obi no Hiri.
Yeah. The same question as in Cat Dog, the Nickelodeon series.
Yeah, remember? In Cat Dog, yeah. This is the same question as Cat Dog. Where does the poop go? Whatever. Midori no Hiri. Yeah. This one is Mysterious Girlfriend X. And Nazo no Kanojo in Japan. And it came out in June 2012. It was Entertainment. That's another animation company that won that. And Ball. Yeah.
Mega 7.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the studio that made the Terminator, and then everything that came after the Terminator was just bad. So then you may have one good one, and then
I dare you to find a bad anime made by Bones. I'll sit here, you in the comments write one bad anime made by Bones. I dare you to find it. You're
just
not gonna be able to.
this
Bones doesn't make a bad anime, they just disappear. They
this
got bought off.
the stock market. It was funny, but still it was stocks. Whatever. So then it's another one of those. So like the weird gimmick is that this guy ends up developing a weird fetishism thing that he has to like have a sip of her drool like once a day. Otherwise he gets like sick and feverish and stuff. Whatever. A weird plot reason for him to be
By the way, the Reddit community, where I'm gonna be sharing this later,
yeah.
they're interesting people. You should totally go check out Kanoyo.
That's another.
Kanoyo X on Reddit.
Yeah, like I remember that they said that the manga was like awful, but the anime show was good. No, but
Commissioning drawing, by the way. We had like
yeah, I gotta get around to making those fan arts again. But I wanna finish that Ghibli one of these years. It just has so much work to do. And I also started streaming else. Alright, I'll get around to it. I will make that fan art. But yeah, she also like plays around with scissors. She always has like a scissor and even when she goes to like the beach, she gets like a weird scissor suntan.
also on the manga she gets a doppelganger who's like a spirit, and it goes supernatural in the last season. Everybody hated it.
Oh yeah, that was you jumped the shark.
Yeah. The scissor shit.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun the way it was, and then
Up to that point, there was nothing supernatural about it.
it was just a very cool. It was just a quirky attraction, like one of the many weird fetishes that are like running around the internet, like like the Hollow Knight.
Like, they don't like fetish, and people are now into bugs, hornets,
The bugs and horneting and
silk sonic.
and silk sun and stuff. But this guy was into the girl's drool.
Mantis.
Yeah, a lot of his points are inspired by the weird fanners. Wait, yeah, 50 Shades of Sha. Whatever.
Point is, nothing supernatural about Natsuno Kanoyo until the last season where suddenly they made her magical and gave her a doppelganger who was evil. It's
Yeah, they didn't know how to end it. The course just ended like a normal show, you know. They start dating and then it fades to black as the sunset comes, you know, how they live happily ever after, or he gets over his dependence on her rule, and then he gets a different kink, and then she be like, oh, you psycho. Or maybe he starts eating her hair, I don't know. Yeah,
the question is not why is Urabe weird. It's why he's weird because he's the one who wants to drink the truth. Urabe's just
or that is just a normal girl.
Yeah. He's asking to do all of these things.
Yeah, because he finds a sweet. Or maybe the weird thing is the weird candy that she's eating. Maybe she's eating acid all the time, and that's why she's drooling and half asleep. And then he developed an addiction to her drool because it still has some of the leftover of the whatever drug. Yeah, that's
a theory for another.
Yeah, if she was eating a candy that's actually a type of drug, then it would explain why he's addicted to it.
Maybe Urabe tastes like those marijuana candies, and then not like high control.
Yeah. That is my theory as to why he grew addicted to it, and why she's always asleep in class. It must be marijuana candy, and then that's why she's always asleep in class and drooling because she's toasty. And that thing is legal now in Florida, so whatever. This one is a Onegai t-shirt or Bliss t-shirt, and it's a 2002 science fiction romance comedy.
Warning before you talk about this one, do not watch Onegai Twins.
Onegai Twins, it was bad. Yeah, it was.
No, you sometimes have like the subplot.
Yeah, it was the main right? about incest in Japan. Is that like an actual thing? Is that a social problem that they gotta go deal with, including the grooming that shows up in 80% of the anime shows? Like Japanese parents, you should like go do something about that incest, cause that's not healthy. Uh, Look at the Borgias and the Habsburgs. That doesn't that always ends badly. All right, so yeah, so this one is the pink hair lady is an alien from Mars, and then she goes to become a school teacher there because her father was from planet Earth, and then she wanted to like get to know the humans there, and then she ends up forming a weird romance with one of her students. But in order to get around he has a weird condition where like he hibernates like the Buddha, but without aging.
With a very contrived way of making a full romance with a teacher without it being
Because he's technically 18 because
he lived for 18 years, but he has the
but because of his weird physical condition, the standstill that they call it, when he just faces out and hibernates for a while, then he's physically 16. So take that as you will. But then again, the consent age in Japan is 14, which is why you have which is the reason why all of the early Atelier games start with the main characters at the age of 14 when they're legal in Japan. Well, I think the reason they raised it back up again cause like a lot of riots and stuff, and the 14-year girl like. Yeah. Oh, Japan has a lot of issues.
we all
Yeah, there's no society that's like, you look at any country from across and then you be like, what the hell is going on there? But yeah, whatever. The point is so then they start living together, so then it's just the awkwardness of like, he's also a student, but he's also her husband do. But he doesn't want to but he doesn't like staying in class because it's just gonna make them look weird.
married.
Yeah, they get married very early. So then it's just his romance with his with his alien hybrid teacher, and going to school and stuff. Well, another way they could have gotten around to it is age him out to college level, and then they're not in high school, they're in college.
There's something similar with Aureka, where she's technically 125 million years old, but she's also a little girl.
Yeah, like or the vampires, Edward. Yeah, he looks like a 16-year-old dude. Not really. He looks like he's 24, but they say in the show, they say in the book that he looks 16. In the movie, they insisted that he looked 16, but he looked like he was 24 or maybe 30. But the main character looks. But then again, it's the standard of the U.S. Like having adults playing teenagers because teenagers cannot. Like you get one or two very good child actors, and the rest, just
There's a reason why they have to use adults.
or whatever. Yeah. And moving along, the Onagai T-shirt. The sequel was. I also like the way that they do like the highlights. The characters look very nice and stuff. And also, this other girl also has the same condition that this guy does. Remember, like the skinny girl but she froze for much longer. Like the last romance anime show that I wanted to mention is Yuri on Ice. It's one of the few anime shows that is about figure skating, and it's such a pity because like it's a very beautiful sport, and like they also like the one who like if all of those ice skating scenes look very realistic, it's because like they actually had a legit figure skater like choreograph all of the performances, and he even performed it himself so that they could like just trace over him. A la Disney style, motion cap and stuff. So they went ham on making the figure skating look as realistic as possible. So you gotta appreciate the effort. So then it's
It's absolute cinema. One of the best. Not one of the best. Yaoi.
Yeah, just one, and it's called Yuri on Ice, but no, it's because somebody's called you.
Yuri on Ice. except for the character called Juliet.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually yaoi on I. They just renamed it as yaoi on I. Just said it for what it is. Yaoi on yeah. So yeah, just the romance between the figure skater guy and his coach. You know, it happens all the time in most competitive sports. A good number of coaches ended up in prison in the for being jury on ice with his underage teenage gymnastics. It gets
The
cute.
US gymnastics thing is
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, like the whole coach and student romance is an well, but then again, there
It
were
was quote unquote. He wasn't asking for somebody there. It was
yeah, there was
different story for
yeah, there was a whatever. It's, but then again, they're both roughly the same age, so I guess whatever. It's, the whole it's like they're talking about the ancient magus, right? Japan likes to do a lot of like the uneven like power dynamics or something or whatever. It's just a lot of that.
a lot of Yaoi has the uneven power dynamics.
Yeah, yeah, or for some creep so it's specific, but whatever. It's not that overly like that in Yuri on Ice. The only kiss in the end, and it's it's not the coach kissing the idiot. It's the idiot kissing the coach, so it's fine.
Plus,
It's
it's plot. Like it's very plot driven. It's
yeah, it's a good story, and more importantly, it has a ton of figure skating.
like I would totally watch a remake of this in live. What
Yeah, but not by Netflix. Just use just make a live action. Just get a real flesh and blood figure skaters.
They need to get a Johnny Weir to play Yuri.
Well, that can be done because it's Japanese,
Oh yeah, you're right.
and that other Johnny Weir is
Russian.
I think it's Russian. I don't know from what country. I think it's or maybe he's American, but he likes the Russians. But not anymore because the Russians like went to war and stuff.
Japan has its own figure skater.
Yeah, Daisuke or something.
Daisuke,
I forget.
his last name was Daisuke.
Or first name, I forget. The point is that just remake it using like flesh and blood characters, you know? Yeah, I'll watch it. Just you realize. Good stuff. Great figure skating stuff. So yeah, that's the last Roman anime show worth mentioning. Bye bye and God bless.